Hello, my friends. How are you feeling today? I hope wherever you are right now, you're finding a moment of peace in this chaotic world we live in. Because today, I want to share something with you that might touch a place deep inside your heart. A place where trust lives, where hope grows, and sometimes, where betrayal leaves its deepest scars. Have you ever given everything to lift someone up, only to watch them use your kindness as a ladder to climb higher while you fall? Have you ever wondered if being good in this world is actually a weakness? If your generosity makes you a target for those who see opportunity where you see friendship? This is Brittany's story. But honestly, it might be your story too. It's about the thin line between helping someone rise and allowing yourself to be stepped on. It's about discovering that sometimes the people we trust most are the ones who hurt us deepest. So take a breath with me, settle in, because this journey is going to challenge everything you believe about kindness, ambition, and the price we pay for having a good heart. Let's walk through this together. Meet Brittany Miller, 28 years old and the kind of person who still believes the world can be good if we just try hard enough. Every morning at 6:30, she's already awake, not because she has to be, but because she wants to be. She makes her coffee slowly, deliberately, watching the steam rise while the city still sleeps. There's something peaceful about those quiet moments before the world demands her attention. At Meridian Corp, where she's worked for 3 years, Brittany is the one people come to when they need more than just help with a project. She's the one who remembers that Sarah from accounting is going through a divorce, that Mike from IT just had his first baby, that the new intern looks overwhelmed and could use someone to eat lunch with. Her desk is like a small sanctuary in the middle of corporate chaos. Thank you cards pinned to her cubicle wall, a drawer full of extra pens and tissues for anyone who needs them, and yes, those homemade cookies she brings every Monday because she genuinely believes that small kindnesses can change someone's entire week. But here's what most people don't see about Brittany. Behind that warm smile and those helping hands, there's a quiet longing. She watches others climb the corporate ladder, watches them get promoted, get recognized, get ahead. And she wonders when it will be her turn. Not because she's envious, but because she's been working so hard, caring so much, giving so much of herself. She believes, deeply and truly, that good things happen to good people. That kindness is an investment that always pays back. That lifting others up will eventually lift her up too. She has no idea how wrong she's about to be. If you walked through the halls of Meridian Corp on any Tuesday morning, you'd notice her before you even knew why. Brittany Miller has this way of moving through her world that just feels different. Purposeful, but gentle. Like she belongs there, but she's not trying to prove it to anyone. She arrives at 7:45 every morning, 15 minutes before she needs to, carrying that same navy blue bag her sister gave her for Christmas 2 years ago. Her desk sits in the middle of the marketing floor, not tucked away in a corner, not demanding attention in the center. Just there. Steady. Reliable. The first thing she does every single day is water the small succulent on her windowsill. It's barely bigger than her coffee mug, but she tends to it like it's the most important thing in the world. Because to Brittany, the small things matter. They're what make life worth living. By 8:15, her colleagues start filtering in, and that's when you really see who Brittany is. She doesn't just say good morning and move on. She asks Jennifer about her mother's surgery recovery. She remembers that Tom's daughter had a piano recital over the weekend. She notices when quiet Rebecca looks tired and quietly leaves a granola bar on her desk. Her work is steady, methodical, creative. She has this gift for seeing what campaigns need before the clients even know they need it. Her presentations are thorough, her deadlines are never missed, and her ideas, well, they're the kind that make people stop and say, "Why didn't I think of that?" During lunch, while others scroll through their phones or talk about weekend plans, Brittany often finds herself helping someone, explaining a new software system to the intern who's too embarrassed to ask questions in meetings, proofreading a proposal for a colleague who struggles with writing, listening, really listening, when someone needs to vent about their day. She wears the same type of cardigan almost every day, soft, comfortable, in colors that don't demand attention, blues, grays, the occasional cream. Her jewelry is simple, meaningful, a small necklace her grandmother left her, earrings that were a gift from her college roommate. People trust Brittany. They confide in her. They rely on her. They feel safe around her. She's become the heart of their little corner of the corporate world, though she'd never see herself that way. But lately, there's been something in her eyes when she thinks no one is looking. A quiet yearning. A question that keeps surfacing. When will it be my turn? She pushes it down, tells herself to be patient, tells herself that good things come to those who wait. She has no idea that change is about to walk through their office door. And she definitely has no idea how much that change is going to cost her. His name was Marcus Rivera, and he walked into their office on a rainy Thursday morning like he owned the world, but had somehow lost his way in it. Confident smile, expensive suit, firm handshake. But Brittany saw something else. She saw the way his eyes darted around the room when Mr. Thompson explained his responsibilities. She noticed how his hands trembled just slightly when he was handed his first client file. She recognized that look because she'd worn it herself 3 years ago, the mask of someone trying desperately not to drown. While everyone else saw potential, Brittany saw panic. The first mistake happened during his second week. A client presentation with numbers that didn't add up, charts that made no sense, and Marcus standing there like a deer caught in headlights. The room went silent. Mr. Thompson's jaw tightened. And in that moment, Brittany made a choice that would change everything. Actually, she heard herself say, I think there might be a version control issue with those files. Marcus, weren't you working from the updated spreadsheet I sent you yesterday? It was a lie. A complete, protective lie. And Marcus grabbed onto it like a lifeline. But that was just the beginning. Soon, Brittany found herself staying late, not for her own projects, but to fix his. Rewriting his proposals, double-checking his research, smoothing over his mistakes before they reached Mr. Thompson's desk. She told herself it was temporary, that he just needed time to find his footing. Week after week, she watched Marcus grow more confident while she grew more exhausted. She'd arrive early to clean up his work from the day before. She'd cover for him in meetings, deflecting questions he couldn't answer. She'd even started taking blame for delays that were entirely his fault. And Marcus? He let her. He didn't just let her, he began to expect it. The moment everything shifted was subtle, almost invisible. It happened during a team meeting when Mr. Thompson praised a campaign strategy that Brittany had spent weeks perfecting. Instead of acknowledging her work, Marcus simply smiled and said, Thank you, sir. I'm glad the approach resonated with you. Brittany felt something crack inside her chest. Not break, not yet, but crack. Like ice beginning to splinter under weight it was never meant to carry. She sat there, watching this man she'd protected and nurtured take credit for her creativity, her late nights, her dedication. And she said nothing. Because good people don't make scenes. Good people don't call out their colleagues in front of their boss. Good people bite their tongues and hope that kindness will eventually be recognized. But as Marcus continued talking, elaborating on his ideas with the confidence of someone who truly believed he'd created them, Brittany realized something terrifying. She had built her own prison, brick by brick, kindness by kindness, and she had handed Marcus the key. 3 months later, Marcus got the promotion. The promotion Brittany had been quietly working toward for 2 years, the corner office with the view of the city. The title she'd dreamed about during those late nights when she stayed behind to perfect campaigns that would never have her name on them. She heard the news from Jennifer in accounting, who delivered it with the kind of casual excitement people share when they think good news is universal. "Isn't it amazing about Marcus? Senior marketing manager. He's worked so hard for it." Brittany smiled. She nodded. She said all the right things. "He deserves it. He's really grown into the role." But when 5 o'clock came, she didn't go home. She sat in her car in the parking lot, engine off, hands gripping the steering wheel, and for the first time in months, she let herself feel it. The exhaustion, the betrayal, the crushing weight of watching someone else climb a ladder she had built with her own hands. The silence in that car was deafening. No music, no phone calls, no distractions. Just Brittany and the question that had been growing inside her like a tumor. What was wrong with her? She thought about her grandmother, who used to tell her that kindness was the most beautiful thing a person could wear. "Honey," she'd say, "you treat people the way you want to be treated, and the world will reward you for it." But sitting there, watching Marcus's silhouette in his new corner office, Brittany wondered if her grandmother had been wrong, or if the world had changed, or if she had somehow misunderstood the rules of the game everyone else seemed to be playing. She pulled out her phone and scrolled through old photos. There she was at the company Christmas party, arm around Marcus, both of them laughing. There she was helping him with his first presentation, so proud of how far he'd come. There she was, over and over again, lifting him up, believing in him, investing in his success like it was her own. Had she been naive? Had her kindness been weakness disguised as virtue? The questions came in waves, each one hitting harder than the last. Why hadn't she spoken up when he took credit for her ideas? Why had she covered for his mistakes instead of letting him face the consequences? Why had she made herself smaller so he could appear bigger? In the reflection of her car window, she saw a woman she barely recognized. Tired, defeated, invisible. But then, in the depths of that darkness, something else stirred. Not anger, not yet. But a quiet, persistent voice that whispered, "You deserve better than this." It was the first time in months that Brittany had put herself first, even in thought, and it terrified her. Because if she deserved better, that meant she had to start fighting for it, and fighting meant she couldn't be the same person she'd always been. The question was, who was she willing to become? The call came on a Tuesday morning, 3 months after Marcus had settled into his corner office. "Brittany, could you come to HR, please? Just a routine review." But when she walked into that sterile conference room and saw the stack of papers on the table, she knew it wasn't routine at all. Her heart began to race, not with fear, but with a strange sense of recognition, like she'd been walking toward this moment for months without realizing it. Mr. Thompson sat across from her, his expression professionally neutral. Beside him was Marcus, wearing that same concerned look he'd perfected over the past year. The look that said, "I'm trying to help, but my hands are tied." And then they began to read. Every mistake she'd ever made, every deadline she'd missed while covering for Marcus, every compromise she'd made to protect him. Every moment of weakness carefully documented, cataloged, and presented as evidence of her incompetence. But here's what cut deepest. They weren't lies. These were her real mistakes, her actual oversights, her genuine moments of human imperfection. The very vulnerabilities she'd accumulated while trying to be everyone's safety net had become the rope around her own neck. Marcus spoke with the practiced tone of someone who'd rehearsed this moment. "I've been trying to manage Brittany's performance issues for months now. The pattern of errors, the missed deadlines, it's been affecting our entire team's productivity." In that moment, Sitting in that cold room, listening to her kindness being reframed as incompetence, Brittany finally understood something profound. She had been collecting the very ammunition that would destroy her. Every time she'd stayed late to fix his work, she'd fallen behind on her own. Every time she'd taken blame to protect him, she'd built a case against herself. Every act of selflessness had become a mark against her character. It wasn't just betrayal. It was something far more devastating, the realization that her greatest strength had become her greatest weakness, and the person she'd tried to save had been documenting her destruction all along. But in that moment of complete devastation, something unexpected happened. A quiet voice inside her whispered words she'd almost forgotten. "Your worth isn't determined by how others treat your kindness." For the first time in months, Brittany looked up and met Marcus's eyes directly. Not with anger, but with a clarity that surprised even her. She finally saw him for who he really was, and more importantly, she began to remember who she was beneath all the giving, beneath all the sacrifice, someone worth protecting. The conversation was over in 15 minutes. 3 years of dedication, reduced to a manila folder and a security escort to her desk. But as Brittany packed her belongings into that small cardboard box, something remarkable happened. For the first time in months, she felt light. Not happy. The betrayal still cut deep, but free from a weight she hadn't even realized she'd been carrying. Marcus approached her as she gathered the last of her things. His expression was carefully crafted, a mixture of regret and professional necessity. "I hope you understand, Brittany. It's nothing personal. It's just business." She looked at him for a long moment. This man she'd protected and lifted up. This person who'd used her kindness as a weapon against her. And instead of anger, she felt something unexpected. Pity. "I know exactly what it is, Marcus," she said quietly, and walked away. The weeks that followed were difficult. Job hunting while processing betrayal isn't easy, but Brittany began to notice small changes in herself. She started saying no to things that didn't serve her. She stopped apologizing for taking up space. She began to see her kindness not as a weakness to be hidden, but as a strength to be protected. When she finally landed an interview at a smaller marketing firm called Creative Compass, something was different. She didn't just talk about her skills, she talked about her boundaries. She didn't just show her portfolio, she showed her worth. "We believe in collaborative success here," the hiring manager Sarah explained. "But we also believe in individual recognition. Your ideas will have your name on them." 6 months later, Brittany sits in her new office, not a corner office, but hers, nonetheless. The walls are decorated with thank you notes again, but now there are also certificates with her name, awards for campaigns she created, recognition for work that belongs to her. She still helps her colleagues. She still believes in lifting others up, but now she documents her contributions. Now she speaks up in meetings. Now she protects her kindness the same way she protects everything else that's valuable. The betrayal didn't make her cynical. It made her wise. And sometimes, when she sees Marcus's LinkedIn updates about his continued success, she doesn't feel anger anymore. She feels grateful. Because his betrayal taught her the most important lesson of her career. You can be kind without being a doormat, generous without being naive, and good without being taken advantage of. The best revenge, she learned, isn't getting even. It's becoming the person you were always meant to be. Take a breath with me for a moment. Because Brittany's story, it's finished now. But yours? Yours is still being written. Somewhere tonight, there's someone staying late at the office, fixing mistakes that aren't theirs. Someone covering for a friend who's forgotten what friendship means. Someone giving and giving until there's nothing left, wondering why kindness feels like punishment. If that someone is you, listen carefully. Your heart. That beautiful, generous heart that sees the best in people even when they can't see it themselves. It's not your weakness. It never was. But it is your responsibility to protect. Brittany learned something in that cold conference room that took her years to understand. There's a difference between lifting someone up and letting them stand on your shoulders. There's a difference between being kind and being invisible. Between helping others succeed and sacrificing your own dreams on the altar of someone else's ambition. The people who truly deserve your kindness, they'll never ask you to make yourself smaller so they can appear bigger. They'll never use your generosity as a ladder while you fall. They'll never take credit for the light you helped them find. So tonight, ask yourself, are you building others up? Or are you building your own prison? Are you investing in people who invest in you? Or are you pouring yourself into empty vessels that will never fill? Your kindness is a gift. But gifts should be given to those who treasure them, not to those who mistake them for weakness. Protect your light. The world needs it. But more importantly, you deserve to shine.